Have you ever noticed a strange tingling in your feet? A numbness that lingers? Or a cold sensation even when you're warm indoors? Many seniors assume these are just natural signs of growing older. But what if I told you that certain fruits ones you've likely considered healthy staples for years might be quietly making these symptoms worse? Some of the most commonly eaten fruits can actually increase inflammation, spike blood sugar, and worsen nerve sensitivity, especially in those dealing with conditions like diabetes, peripheral neuropathy, or poor circulation. These fruits might seem innocent sitting in your fruit bowl or blended into your morning smoothie. But for aging bodies, they may be doing more harm than good. The truth is, not every fruit is safe or beneficial once we pass a certain age, especially when nerve health and blood flow are already compromised. In today's video, we'll uncover 6 specific fruits that seniors should avoid, especially if they've been struggling with foot numbness, burning sensations, or unexplained tingling. It's time to take a closer look at what's really on your plate. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. 1. Watermelon, refreshing but dangerous on a warm day. There's something so comforting about biting into a cool slice of watermelon. It brings back memories hot summer days, family gatherings, sticky fingers, and smiles all around. Watermelon feels like the perfect fruit. It's light, hydrating, and seems almost too simple to ever cause harm. But for seniors, especially those who deal with foot numbness, tingling sensations, or circulation issues, the story isn't quite so sweet. Despite its watery nature and reputation for being diet-friendly, watermelon ranks surprisingly high on the glycemic index. That means it can send your blood sugar soaring not long after you eat it. The sugar surge feels harmless, no immediate crash, no discomfort. But what happens beneath the surface is far more serious. With every spike in blood glucose, your small blood vessels take a hit, especially those serving the nerves in your feet and hands. Those nerves, already more fragile with age, begin to suffer from a lack of oxygen and nourishment. Over time, the repeated damage leads to inflammation, pain, and eventually nerve breakdown. The most troubling part, you often won't feel it happening. A bit of tingling here, a little numbness there, easy to dismiss as part of aging, but these are often the earliest signs of peripheral neuropathy, a condition that becomes harder to reverse the longer it's left unaddressed. And what makes it worse is that watermelon gives the illusion of hydration. Sure, it's full of water, but it doesn't provide the minerals and fiber that help regulate blood sugar or protect nerve function. It cools the tongue, but can overheat your nervous system. For seniors living with diabetes, prediabetes, or nerve sensitivity, watermelon might be doing the opposite of what they hoped, contributing not to healing, but to decline. The sweetest foods often hide the sharpest consequences. And this fruit, while nostalgic and beloved, is no exception. What's even more concerning is that watermelon is just the beginning. It's big, colorful, and easy to recognize. But the next fruit, it's small, portable, and often eaten by the handful without a second thought. It's tucked into lunchboxes, tossed into smoothies, and offered as a healthy snack. Let's take a closer look at one of the most underestimated fruits lurking in your kitchen. 2. Grapes, the silent saboteurs. They're bite-sized, sweet, and effortlessly poppable grapes are often seen as a guilt-free snack. You might keep a bowl nearby while reading or watching the evening news, reaching for a few here and there without much thought. Compared to cookies or chips, they feel like the healthier option, but for seniors, especially those dealing with tingling, numbness, or burning in the feet, grapes may be quietly doing far more harm than good. It's not just the sugar content that makes grapes a hidden threat, though that alone is worth your attention. 1 cup of grapes contains upwards of 23 grams of sugar, but it's the kind of sugar they carry, fructose, that poses a particular problem. Unlike glucose, which is absorbed by many cells in the body, fructose is primarily processed by the liver, and when it comes in fast, with no fiber to slow its absorption, as is the case with grapes, it overloads the system. Blood sugar rises quickly. Insulin surge. And over time, the delicate nerves, especially in the feet and legs, start to pay the price. Older adults already tend to have reduced insulin sensitivity. That means their bodies are less equipped to handle sudden sugar spikes. And grapes, being almost entirely sugar and water with little fiber or protein to balance them, deliver exactly that. With repeated exposure, the blood vessels that feed your nerves become inflamed and narrowed. Circulation drops. Nerve endings become irritated and oxygen deprived. The early symptoms, light tingling or sensitivity, often go unnoticed. But as the damage builds, these small signs give way to more severe consequences: burning, loss of feeling, or even a total inability to sense the floor beneath your feet. What makes grapes even more dangerous is how deceptively easy they are to overeat. Unlike a large slice of cake or a rich dessert, a handful of grapes doesn't feel indulgent, so you keep reaching for more. A few becomes a dozen. A dozen becomes the whole bunch. But your nervous system keeps score. Every gram of sugar contributes to oxidative stress and inflammation. Every extra serving chips away at the delicate structures that give you balance and sensation. And often, grapes don't come alone. They're served with cheeses, crackers, or even a glass of wine, all of which add to the load your body has to process. What starts as a seemingly healthy habit can quietly unravel your nerve health over time. If something so small and common can create such ripple effects, what happens when we turn to a fruit that's not just sugary, but also often marketed as heart-friendly? Let's examine one that's likely been part of your breakfast routine for years without realizing the slow nerve damage it might be causing. 3. Bananas. Too much of a good thing. There's something peaceful about peeling a banana. It's soft, easy to eat, and has long been a go-to for older adults looking for a quick, gentle breakfast option. You've likely heard that bananas are great for potassium and may help prevent cramps, and that's partially true. But if you're someone struggling with numbness, tingling, or burning in your feet, there's another side to bananas that most people never talk about. What many don't realize is that ripe bananas are packed with natural sugars. One medium banana can have up to 17 grams of sugar, mostly in the form of glucose and fructose. While these sugars occur naturally, they act quickly in the body, especially when there's little fiber or fat to slow their absorption. For seniors, especially those with insulin resistance, prediabetes, or type 2 diabetes, this means rapid blood sugar spikes that the body isn't equipped to handle as well as it once did. These spikes do more than just throw off energy levels. They cause inflammation, particularly around small blood vessels and nerves. The nerves in your feet and legs are especially vulnerable because they're farthest from your heart. Poor circulation combined with high sugar levels creates the perfect storm. Oxygen can't reach the nerve tissue. Inflammation takes hold. And the signals your nerves are meant to send, like pressure, temperature, or pain, start to break down. That tingling in your toes, or that cold, creeping sensation in your feet, those could be signs that your nerves are under stress, not just from aging, but from what's on your plate. Bananas also contain tyramine, a natural compound that affects how your blood vessels contract. In small amounts, it's not a big deal, but in higher doses or combined with certain medications, tyramine can disrupt blood flow, yet another hit to your already struggling circulation. Most people eat bananas believing they're doing something kind for their body. But for those in their 60s, 70s, or beyond, it's important to ask, is this fruit still helping me or quietly making things worse? And if a soft, innocent banana can have this kind of impact, what about fruits that come in smaller forms but carry an even bigger sugar load? Let's now take a look at one that fits in your palm but may hit your nerves much harder than you think. 4. Dried fruits, concentrated trouble. They often sit quietly in your pantry. Raisins, dates, dried apricots, figs tucked in resealable bags or small containers, waiting to be sprinkled on oatmeal or eaten as a midday snack. They seem wholesome, almost medicinal. For years, dried fruits have enjoyed a reputation as a smart choice, better than cookies. People say, but for older adults, especially those dealing with nerve pain, blood sugar swings, or tingling feet, these tiny bites can hide a powerful threat. Here's what most people don't realize when fruit is dried. It doesn't lose its sugar, it concentrates it. The water is removed, but all the natural sugars remain, compressed into a dense form. That means what used to be one large, water-rich piece of fruit becomes a small, chewy morsel with a sugar load. Your body absorbs quickly and intensely. A single handful of raisins can contain nearly as much sugar as a candy bar, only it doesn't feel like an indulgence, which is what makes it so dangerous. For seniors whose insulin function is already declining, these rapid sugar hits cause blood glucose to spike and linger. Over time, this creates constant low-level inflammation, especially in the tiny vessels that supply your peripheral nerves. And the nerves in your feet and legs, already far from your heart and slower to receive oxygen, bear the brunt. What begins as a light tingling may evolve into burning discomfort or deep numbness, making walking more difficult and increasing fall risk. What's worse, many dried fruits are processed with sulfur-based preservatives to extend shelf life and maintain color. These chemicals, like sulfitis, can irritate sensitive systems, triggering inflammatory responses or even mild allergic symptoms. Combined with the concentrated sugar, it's a double hit your nerves didn't ask for. And because dried fruit is bite-sized and soft, it's easy to overeat. You don't stop at one fig or two raisins, it's a handful. Then another. That's how a quiet, healthy-looking snack becomes a slow drain on your nerve health. But what if the danger doesn't come from something dried at all? What if it's a fresh, juicy fruit, tropical, vibrant, and long celebrated for its vitamins and immune-boosting powers? Let's take a closer look at one fruit that's often misunderstood and may quietly irritate your nerves from the inside out. Pineapple might seem like a treat, but for aging bodies, the story is more complicated than it seems. 5. Pineapple, the hidden sugar bomb. Pineapple bright, tropical, and bursting with flavor has long been viewed as a sign of health and vitality. For many older adults, it's a nostalgic favorite, often added to fruit salads or enjoyed chilled on a warm afternoon. Its golden color and juicy sweetness seem like nature's perfect gift. But for seniors dealing with diabetes, poor circulation, or nerve discomfort in the legs and feet, pineapple may be hiding risks you wouldn't expect. You see, pineapple is deceptively high in natural sugars, especially fructose. A single cup can contain over 16 grams of sugar, which the body absorbs rapidly. For younger bodies, this isn't such a big issue. But as we age, the body's ability to regulate blood sugar weakens. That means each serving of pineapple can send blood glucose soaring, followed by a crash that starves your nerves of the oxygen and nutrients they rely on. Over time, this process, known as glycemic stress, can damage the small blood vessels that nourish nerve endings, particularly in the feet. The symptoms start subtly. Maybe your toes feel fuzzy, or your foot goes numb even while resting. That asleep sensation isn't trivial. It's your body signaling that something is wrong. Left unchecked, this slow deterioration can become permanent, affecting balance, comfort, and independence. And there's more. Pineapple contains a naturally occurring enzyme called bromelain. While bromelain does have some anti-inflammatory properties, it can also trigger histamine reactions in sensitive individuals and irritate the gut lining. For seniors whose immune and digestive systems are more reactive, this adds an extra layer of inflammation, putting more pressure on the nervous system, joints, and blood vessels. The hardest part is how innocent pineapple seems. It doesn't taste dangerous. It tastes like joy, like childhood, like a summer day. But that's exactly why it's so tricky. The very fruit you once trusted to refresh and energize may now be pushing your nervous system closer to exhaustion. So does that mean all seemingly healthy fruits are suspect? Not all, but there's one more that deserves a second look. It's tangy, juicy, and often praised for its vitamin C. You might slice it into quarters or drink it in the morning without thinking twice. But for aging adults, especially those already facing circulation or nerve issues, it might be doing more harm than good. Let's take a closer look at oranges, because what's sweet and simple on the outside may be stirring up trouble inside. 6. Oranges, not always heart-healthy. For decades, oranges have carried the image of wholesome health. From school lunches to retirement home breakfasts, they've long been seen as nature's immune booster. Praised for their vitamin C content and their role in fighting colds and flu. Many of us grew up with the belief that a glass of orange juice each morning would keep us strong. But what's often overlooked is how this fruit, especially for seniors dealing with nerve pain, diabetes, or circulatory problems, can quietly do more harm than good. The concern isn't about oranges being bad, but about how our bodies respond to them differently with age. A single medium orange contains about 12 grams of natural sugar. While that may seem modest, the real problem begins when oranges are consumed as juice. Once juiced, the fiber that helps slow sugar absorption is removed, turning the drink into a high glycemic beverage that acts more like soda than fruit. This means the sugar enters your bloodstream, quickly spiking your glucose levels and forcing your already weakened insulin response to work harder. In older adults, these regular sugar surges can quietly damage the small blood vessels that feed your nerves, particularly in your extremities. Over time, this weakens nerve health, leading to increased numbness, tingling, and poor circulation in the feet. There's also the matter of acidity. Oranges are naturally acidic. And while younger, healthier bodies may tolerate this without issue. The same acid can irritate sensitive or inflamed nerve tissue in seniors. For individuals already living with neuropathy, this can worsen the burning or prickling sensation, intensifying discomfort and making restful sleep more elusive. To complicate things further, oranges can interact with several common medications, from cholesterol-lowering statins to blood pressure meds and anti-inflammatories. Compounds in oranges, particularly in juice, can interfere with how these drugs are absorbed and processed. In some cases, they may even amplify side effects or reduce the medicine's effectiveness altogether. This doesn't mean you have to swear off oranges entirely, but it does mean that a fruit once seen as universally beneficial deserves a closer look, especially if you're managing chronic conditions. Like so many things in later life, moderation and awareness are key. What used to be a harmless habit may now need rethinking. Because when it comes to protecting your nerves, every small decision counts. Now that you've seen how even trusted fruits can sabotage your nerve health, you may be wondering, what should I eat instead? You might be surprised to learn that some of the most beneficial fruits for nerve and foot health are actually the ones that rarely get much attention. So, what should you eat instead? After hearing how certain common fruits can contribute to nerve pain and numbness in your feet, it's completely understandable to feel disheartened. For years, we were taught that fruit was one of the healthiest choices you could make, but aging shifts the landscape. Our systems become more reactive, our circulation changes, and our nerves become more fragile. That means foods we once relied on may no longer serve us the way they used to. But don't let this discourage you. This isn't about eliminating fruit, it's about making more mindful, supportive choices that align with your body's evolving needs. It's about choosing fruits that stabilize blood sugar, reduce inflammation, and provide the nutrients your nerves and blood vessels rely on to function properly. Let's start with the unsung heroes of the fruit world, berries. Whether it's blueberries, strawberries, or raspberries, these little fruits pack a powerful punch. They contain natural sweetness but are low on the glycemic index, meaning they won't send your blood sugar soaring. Even more importantly, they're loaded with antioxidants, compounds that help your body fight inflammation and oxidative stress, two of the leading causes of nerve damage as we age. Then there's the humble avocado. Yes, it's technically a fruit, and one of the most underrated, rich in healthy fats. Avocados can help keep your blood sugar stable, support cardiovascular health, and reduce the kind of silent inflammation that leads to nerve problems. They don't cause energy crashes or sugar spikes. Instead, they offer steady, lasting nourishment. Apples also deserve a place in your diet, especially when you eat them with the skin on. They contain both soluble and insoluble fiber, which slows digestion and helps maintain even glucose levels throughout the day. Their natural sweetness won't overwhelm your system, and they offer a satisfying, crunchy texture that many people find comforting. And let's not forget lemons, though rarely eaten whole. They're a powerful addition to water, teas, or meals, high in vitamin C and free of heavy sugars. Lemons help cleanse the body and support immune and nerve health, all without the sugar overload found in other fruits like oranges or pineapples. Here's a simple way to enjoy these fruits safely. Pair them with a protein or a healthy fat. Add a small handful of almonds, a slice of cheese, or a bit of yogurt alongside your fruit. This slows down the digestion of sugar and helps your body absorb nutrients more gradually and efficiently, giving your nerves and blood vessels time to adjust. This chapter of life isn't about cutting everything out. It's about living wisely with the benefit of experience and the insight to know when something that once served us might now be doing harm. Choosing the right fruits isn't about deprivation. It's about investing in your mobility, clarity, and comfort in the years ahead. And as you begin to make these adjustments, you may find yourself wondering what other seemingly healthy foods could be quietly working against your well-being. The truth is, there are many, and being aware of them gives you power. Here's a thought to carry with you. Your feet are telling a story. Are you taking the time to hear it? Getting older teaches us that wellness isn't just about adding more to our plates, it's also about knowing when to let go. Many of the fruits we've discussed are bright, familiar, even nostalgic. But nostalgia doesn't protect your nerves. Awareness does. And sometimes, what once nourished us no longer fits. Our current chapter, I say this not as a distant expert, but as someone who's lived through these shifts. I've felt the subtle warning signs, the odd numbness, the unsteady step, the tingling that lingers longer than it used to. These sensations aren't random. They're your body's way of asking for change. Long before pain becomes permanent, the nervous system doesn't cry out. It whispers through light tingles, slight loss of balance, or that feeling that something just isn't right in your stride. Don't wait for it to shout. Respond now. Gently, intentionally, because the decisions you make today can shape how you walk, move, and feel tomorrow. If all it takes is a swap, a banana for a handful of berries, dried fruit for fresh apple slices, a glass of juice for water with lemon to gain more comfort, more freedom, more independence. Isn't it worth it? You've walked through decades. You deserve to walk the next ones with strength, stability, and a sense of ease in your own body. Don't let old habits quietly chip away at what you've worked so hard to protect. Choose what supports you now. Choose with wisdom. Walk forward with purpose. And now, I'd love to hear from you. What's one takeaway from today's guide that you plan to try in your own routine? Let's encourage each other as we age with knowledge, confidence, and care. If this video resonated with you, drop a 1 in the comments. If not, leave a 0. Your voice matters, and so does your health. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more uplifting, science-backed advice to help you thrive. After 60, and until next time, stay strong, stay aware, and keep moving forward with grace.